right. Good morning. Today we are on day 3 of the Orphan Project Challenge. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I am going to check on a few things, but while I do, say hi, hello, how are you? What's going on? How is your Orphan Project Challenge going for you? Get a shout out, say hello if you are hearing or seeing me, or if you are joining me right now. All right, so let's see here. So, oh, good morning. No, I am here. Good morning, Miss Vicky. Yes, I know things to set up is a little funny. And then, you know, I need a haircut. I'll just say that. I need a haircut. And so it's a little bit like, oh, it's a little big and puffy. And yes, that's how it is. So Vicky says, I need EQ8 help. Good morning, Karen. That's your goal? That's your goal for today? Or let's see, Carrie Shaw is excellent at EQ. Have you checked out her tutorials, Vicky, that I'm just going to mention there? So hello to everybody that's joining me. I'm Becky from Patchwork Posse, as well as my online quilt group, the International Association of Quilters, where I help quilters connect with each other and become best friends with their sewing machine. Mary Ann, good morning. Carol Shaw, I will do that. It's Carrie. Let's see, Carrie Shell. So she EQ On Point Quilter. On Point Quilter, Vicky is who she is. So this morning it is Orphan Project Challenge week. We haven't done this for a while, so we're so excited to get back to it. We are on day 3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can find out all the information right here in this link that I'm going to drop in the comment area. So you can find it right here. There we go. So anybody is available or anybody is allowed to join. This is just a small amount of money, not too terrible much. But it will help you work on the projects that you already have, saving you money. And we will be working together. And so it will save you a lot of time and frustration because you have the community to help. So I just dropped that link into the comments. If anybody is interested in picking that up, we welcome you. So yes, Vicky, you know who she is. Yep. Faye, good morning from Missouri. Welcome. And Monica, good morning. So glad you guys are here today. So let's get started. I am going to share my screen again. We are going to talk about, Elaine, good morning, North Carolina. We are going to talk about our tracking sheets. So let's review really quick what we worked on. Monday was all about prepping your space and digging into your hot spots. But this was just like when you found a project, you kind of just shoved it off to the side. Tuesday was about those projects and organizing them as far as, are there anything that you really need to get done because it's due for a birthday present, a holiday, or some other timeline? So it's kind of like organizing those projects that we found into a reasonable pile, and, you know, with most important at the top, or a number system like Marcia shared yesterday. So that was yesterday. Today is all about kind of going through those projects individually. And so we know what they are. We had a place for them. We've been setting them aside. Today is where we get to pay attention to them and really use those tracking sheets to help us get ahead and know what our next project is going to be. So yeah, if you missed any of the replays, they are, or if you missed any of the live videos, They are in the announcements section, all right? And so you can find all the videos there. Good morning, Joanne. Good morning, Lucy and Leanne. So glad you guys are here. This is a good day. So hopefully, maybe, and Kathy. Good morning, Cindy and friends. Yes, you're awesome, Cindy. So if you don't have them, check your email that came out. It does have a link in there. It says download your files. It will take you to a page that has all the files on there. All right. Good morning, Carol. So make sure you have those files. Save them to your computer. Remember where they're put, and you can print off as many as you need. You know, with the ebook, you'll probably not print it. You'll just use your phone or your computer for those, or you can print off the ones that you're going to be working on. We're talking about the ebook tomorrow. But as far as the tracking sheets go, those are unlimited. So feel free to print those off and use what you need. So Joyce, good morning. And Carol, so glad you guys are here. Oh, Susan, Nashville, welcome. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's get it up here and let me know everybody can see that, right? It says Orphan Project Challenge Day 3. So let me know if you can see that. I'm assuming so because it should. So without further ado, I just need to find it. Here we are. Okay, so using your tracking sheets, with all of our prep done, let's take a look at our tracking sheets, what they're all about and what you can track with them. Oh, Bobby, yes, yes. Okay, Vicki, everybody, and Sandy, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we have 2 pages, super simple. It's not complicated around here. We have 2 pages. The tracking sheet, which is 3 columns. That's what's shown over here. And it has the start date and the end date. It has the name, and it has also a place for our notes. So what you recall, the next step is maybe you need to pick up something or a Notion supply that you need to get before you get started. Maybe it's for a specific gift. There's a noisy road out the front. Maybe it's for a specific person, date. So whatever note that you have concerning this project, go right ahead and write it down. If you need more than 1 space per project, it's not a big deal. So just use what you need for this one. This is works with our goal. So what is your goal for this challenge? And what are the projects that go along with this goal? So, you know, what are you thinking about? What you want to happen by the end of this challenge? And kickstart is kind of a kickstart to get back to the sewing machine. Is that complete? Is that a completed project? So do you want it completed, or do you just want the top sewn together? Maybe just a few blocks. So feel free to write in that area what your goal is for the overall challenge. And I know we've been talking about goals each day, but this is kind of a challenge. This is kind of the goal that is overarching everything. What are we thinking that we would like to happen for the Orphan Project Challenge? So this is the first page, just to go through that pile that you've already made and to individually write down each project as you hit it. Now, when you dive into that project, bag, tote, container, Tupperware, however you've got your project pile, however you've got your project, once you write that information down on this page, you need to hop on over and grab your other page. So this is the individual Orphan Project tracking sheet. So this is where we kind of go into a deep dive about this specific project. So we've got an area for our name, our start date, finish date, completed checkbox to make you feel accomplished when it's done. I love myself a good checkbox. And then you have 2 supplies here. or 2 columns, I mean. One is for the supplies list. What kind of materials do you need to get or to find? So I know a lot of us have excellent memory when it comes to, I know I bought this fabric for binding. I know I bought this fabric for sashing, but we have very poor fabric or poor memory when it comes to where did I actually put that fabric. And so this is your opportunity to write down what you need to find to complete this project. Is it a special template? Is it a special ruler? Is it a special fabric? Do you have a kit? Making sure that, you know, you write these things down and then you go hunt them down, checking them off when you find them. So you really need to make sure that you have all your things gathered and ready to go. So the other column over there is really breaking down the next steps that you need to take to move the project forward. So, you know, maybe you open this project up and you're finding that you really need to cut the fabric and prep it for sewing. So you don't have many things done, and that's totally just fine. So an orphan project can be started, or it can be a kit, or it can be just sitting there with ready to go. It doesn't have to be mid-process. So we're not picky here. There's no quilt, please. So is there multiple blocks you need to sew? Are borders missing? Maybe you need some sashing. Whatever it is, this next step area is where you will look and review that project, then break it down so you know what the next step is. So this makes the projects move forward. It's easy to overthink or get confused as to what we really need to do to move the project forward. There have been many times when I think I have to make like 20 or more blocks, and I have a lot more to do in my head than what is actually needed. Is it like this? Okay, who said presentation mode? Vicky. So you want to see my face, or you want to see the full thing and not the sides? Let me see if I can do that. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so true. Bobby, yes. Sandy says, I always put the pattern with the fabric. So smart. Yeah, sometimes we dig into those projects and we're just like, I don't even know where the pattern is, which is not a surprise, but a surprise to us all. Okay, let me see if I can find my slide, and I don't have it in presentation mode, so I can edit it. I think that's what I do. But let me see. Oh, present. Does that work, Vicki? Is that a little better? It's a little bigger, huh? But then if I jump around, I get all mixed up. So hopefully that'll work. Okay, yeah, not the slides on the slide. All right, Vicki, there you go. Yes, so, you know, this is your opportunity to dig into those piles that we found previously and figure out what we need to do to get this project moving forward. So the first page was just kind of like writing down the projects that we have. And this page is all about in looking at this project individually, breaking down what we need to find in our sewing room so we can move it forward. And then the next part is reviewing the pattern, reviewing what we have finished or what we're in mid-finishing, and then writing down our next steps. So your steps may look like cut the fabric, sew 10 log cabin blocks, sew 30 flying geese blocks, put sashing together or cut sashing. And then another one might be assemble the quilt top or assemble quilt top sections. So it just really depends on where you are at when you take a look at that project. So this just gives you an opportunity to kind of dig through that little pile of project and make sure that you have all your materials and then write down the next step. So the next time we have an opportunity to sew, you open that bag, you pull out this paper and you read your next step and you are able to get it going. So it makes it so nice. So nice. I have an orphan in pieces with no idea of the pattern. So we did talk about that a little bit yesterday, Melissa, about what to do with our projects. If you're not interested in finishing it, is one way to look at it. And if you are interested in finishing it, Melissa, but you don't have the pattern, this is a great time to learn improv, to practice improv. And improv means you just take what you have and you put it together. You lay it out on the floor or on your design wall. Maybe you try some different sashings. Maybe you do an every other layout. Maybe you just put the blocks together and put a border on it and call it a baby quilt or a table runner. So Melissa, I would suggest for this, you have an opportunity to get lots of feedback from other people in the community that are doing the challenge. And so drop a picture of those blocks in the Facebook group. Let us see them and let us find you a pattern. Let us find you a pattern or a layout that would work for those. So really don't get stuck on the idea that it has to be finished the way you started it. And so anyways, you've got a couple options, Melissa, and I'm excited to see what those blocks are and to see how that will turn out. Because if you're not stuck on it, then for sure, you can totally finish it into something new and different and still be excited about it. Cindy says, saves so much time. Yes, those tracking sheets do. Sandy says, what is sashing? Sandy, sashing is the fabric that goes in between the blocks. So if you have a block and then a little space of fabric and it's a long strip, or it could be, 4 patches or whatever, those are called sashings. Christine says, I try to wrap my projects with a ribbon and copy the pattern from the book so it stays with the fabric or in the bag cut. Great idea, Christine, because I know sometimes we're not able to put the book inside the project bag because it doesn't fit or whatever. It's super heavy and thick. So yeah. Making a photocopy and sticking it right in there. Perfect idea. Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Moving on. If I click this, it'll go to the next project. Okay, there we go. Yep. How many projects? So what are we looking for here? We are going to focus on 10. So, let's not go crazy here. I know that you've gone through a lot of your hot spots. You maybe have found a lot of projects. And 10 is a great number to get started with. If you have more than that, or if you've done this challenge before and you have whatever, 50 that you've tracked, fine. It's not a big deal. But we want to kind of focus, I guess, on 10. So you can track more than that if you want, but during this week and this weekend when it's our sew time, we're going to focus on 10. So really that tracking page is going to be, here we go. This tracking sheet right here, I would really like to see 10 on there or less. And you can photocopy this as many times as you want. So if you have more than 10, go right ahead and fill it out. But really, let's focus on 10 projects for this challenge and being our goal, okay? So learn what you like. This is a great place to really test the ground on getting a system that works for you. Using the tracking sheets, learning what you like and what you don't like about the tracking sheets, making some adjustments. But the 10 really gives you a variety of projects to pick from. Not too many, not too little. It really is a good number. And we are looking for projects of all different kinds. They can be bags, they can be table runners, they can be quilts, they can be whatever you decide them to be. If they don't have to be quilts specifically, and they don't have to be large or small. So really whatever you come up with is going to be great. And I know this picture has the Orphan Quilt Blocks ebook cover on it. And we are going to talk about that tomorrow. Super excited about that. Super excited. So moving your projects forward, I avoid that project a lot of times, but really once I sit down with it and fill out the tracking sheets, I feel a lot better about the quilt or my project. I may even surprise myself with how little needs to be done to get it finished. So I don't know about you, but yeah, a lot of times I'm like, I begrudge it. I sigh very heavily or huff at that project. But once I dig into it, it's like, oh my gosh, I really don't have very much left. So during the challenge, though, I just reminding you that this isn't about finishing. It's not a contest. This is about getting your projects moving forward, knowing what the next step is. So again, these are PDFs, so you can print and use them as much as you need, adding them to more projects as you move forward. And you, in the, in the email, you should have gotten there was a link in the email. My brain wasn't working for a minute. There was a link in the email that that you can use to download those tracking sheets. So yeah. Christine says, but knowing what you have left is a better idea. You won't be so overwhelmed by how many blocks you have left of the project. Love the sheet. Exactly. Yes. Because sometimes we're just like, oh my gosh, I have to make 150,000 blocks. And in reality, it's not that many. But yes. Christine also says she has more than 10. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. It's not a big deal. We're not counting on the numbers. I'm just trying to keep it simple because I know a lot of us have a plethora of projects. And so we just want to not overwhelm our brain going, oh my gosh, now I have, 50 projects to work on. No, let's focus on 10. So as you evaluate, and we kind of did this yesterday, a little bit, but as you evaluate again those projects going through the bags today, sort them again by what you really want to work on. Yeah, Christine says Christmas presents. Yep, and most certainly that is probably what you're going to be working on during the challenge for sure. Delene says, I love the Orphan book. Yes, it's got so much inspiration. I love it. Yeah. Okay, just checking to make sure I don't have any questions popping in that I didn't. Marsha, I took a nap, but I'm awake now. Welcome, Marsha. So glad you're here. Lucy says, I picked my top 5 to work on this week. Great idea. Yep. Yeah. So really, tracking sheets can go in each project to whatever you have. But let's try to focus on, 5, 10 to work on this week so we don't overwhelm ourselves. Billy says, I have 2 plethoras or more. Love that, Billy. And the reaction from others means we learned, we have done that more. Yep. I signed up for a block of the month 2021, have not started. I was thinking of using the fabric to do a scrappy applique quilt instead. What does everybody think? Sandy, I love that idea. I love that you're not, this isn't about guilt and feeling horrible about ourselves because we signed up for something and never started it. And if you feel strongly about doing something different with it because you're inspired by the fabric, go for it. And I'm going to double note that, Sandy, in saying that you probably bought more fabric than you needed. And so you probably could do both if you wanted. Yep. Yes. Monica. Wonderful suggestion. What about 2 tracking sheets, one in the project, one in the biter with organization? Yes. And I know quite a few people have done that. And that is a perfect suggestion for it as well. Yep. Bobby says, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So if many of you keep a project binder, for sure, when you have these projects and you're working in them out and looking at the steps and the materials, mark it out twice. You probably don't need to double up on the supplies, but the next steps for sure. So I just wanted to share a couple pages from last time we done this. So once you have these printed and filled out, snap a picture of you holding your pages or filled out, share what your goal is during this challenge. So this was, I believe, April, but I'm not sure because I marked her name out, which is fine. So yeah, completed both of the challenges that were part of my goal. She's made additional progress on the original list along with a few side items. I love that we have side items as well. So beautiful tracking sheets there. So, and we're so excited to see your goals. So if you have any questions, ask it in the Facebook group. There's a bunch of us in there and you can help you get unstuck on your projects. Just like Cindy or Sandy mentioned, you know, what do I do about this? We are here for you. So, and if you're looking at taking your tracking a little bit further, as well and help plan your year, months, projects, classes, and tracking those finishes, then you can check out the Patchwork Planner, which I'm currently doing a very big and exciting update to be announced by the end of the month. But I think it's going in a great direction and I'm super excited. A lot more variety and a lot more options. So yeah. So before we talk about the workbook, does anybody have any questions? Cindy says, when I made my new 10 list, I went through the old one and was shocked. I actually finished more than I thought. Oh my gosh, Cindy, I hadn't thought about that, about reviewing what your list was prior. I love that idea. Highlighters are your best friend. Check off items as you go. Yes, Kathy. Yep. And Billy says, I use the 2 copies method. One stay with the project. The other is my binder. I pull it out when I work on the project, take it with me to collect what I need, etc. I love that idea, Billy. Thank you for sharing. So yes, for those of you who picked up the workbook or the IAQ members, you get the workbook for free. So I thought I would just go over what the pages are included, just kind of really quickly. So we've got quilt labels in there, care cards, which are perfect for cutting up and giving to those when we give our quilts out, what they can do with the quilts and how to take care of them. There's quite a few different sheets for practicing your 1/4 inch seam allowance. It seems a little funny, but really it is super, super helpful. No matter if you're a beginner quilter or, you know, seasoned and experienced, it does not matter. At one point, I thought my 1/4 inch was good, and now it is totally off. Or what happens sometimes is we get a sewing machine, a new one or a different one, and what we thought worked for our other one won't work for this one. And so things get off and it really does mess up a bunch of stuff and waste fabric. So practice those 1/4 inch seams. What's the story page? This one is great for journaling that quilt, giving the background history and a little story about why you made it, what you chose, or why you chose the fabric, why you chose the pattern, and who it's for if it is a gift. Daily tracking, so you can kind of write down what you're working on or what you've accomplished each day. And then there's one sheet in there, how many blocks does it take? This is kind of an extension on the ebook a little bit, where you have a pile of blocks and they're all the same size. You're not sure how to put them together, but you can make those into quilts and they're a lot of fun. Scrappy blocks are a lot of fun to make, just kind of toss it in the car kind of quilts. And so this will tell you how many blocks of each size to make a certain size of quilt. Also, it's got a second setting in there. So if you put a spacer block in between them, these work great as well. So those are a few of the pages. Then it also includes the quilter's personal journal. So reflections, daily check-in pages, what I have accomplished. So amazingly enough, Similar to what Cindy said, you will be surprised when you review things, what you actually have done. And around the end of the year or the beginning of the year, we have a plan and review your year kind of weekend. And that one's a lot of fun where we go through that kind of stuff. And then ways you can give back. So we have opportunities to share our talent with others, as well as 10 things you can do if you get stuck. So if you feel stuck and you're not sewing anymore, these are some great ideas to get you moving forward again. And so those are some of the pages that were included in the personal journal. Now, the personal journal came about during 2020 when we were all in quarantine, but it still is great to have around. So I'm going to check really quick, make sure. Sandy says, where do we get this workbook? It was on the checkout, but let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I'm thinking it's in the shop as well. So you can pick it up if you didn't buy it with the challenge. If you did buy it with the challenge, you should have gotten an email that had the, what do you call it? The email will have the links to download everything, okay? So let's see, just making sure my link is good. There was a lot of people who picked it up. And so Monica, for IAQ members, it's going to be under the community activities and Orphan Project Challenge. And I will get a link to it really quick if I can here. So if you go under community activities, and then let's see. Oh, the Orphan Project Challenge. You can grab the link there. Marcia says, I do love being an IAQ member. Yes. Okay, so for IAQ members, you will need to be logged in to access that. But that on the side, you'll see will have, what do you call it? It'll have the OPC workbook in there. And then if you click on that, it'll take you to the PDF. It'll allow you to download the link from there. So thank you. Thank you, Marcia. I love that you're a member too. Kathy says IAQ members are so fun and helpful. I know we are, aren't we? We are a lot of fun. We just had a meetup yesterday. We talked to Corinne, who is a guest who came and spoke with us all about her Halloween quilts. Corinne Savoy. Oh, Sauve. Awesome. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here because we love our IAQ members. And we will have an opportunity to join the IAQ at the end of the challenge. So just giving you a heads up of what you can expect coming up. So what do you do with these pages? And build yourself a tracking system. Here we go. Print and use as many as you need. Keep one with the project and one with the binder. Here it is. So, you know, this is a great opportunity to really track what we are sewing. And sometimes our binder will get really thick. Don't worry about it. I know it can be overwhelming, but maybe put some spacers, what are those called? Some tabs in your binder, because you have the ability, if it's a 3-ring binder, to move those pages around. You're not stuck to a certain layout of the book. And really, to open it up and see 50 pages in there can be considerably overwhelming. So feel free to move those pages, use tabs to separate what the most important ones are. And so when you flip it open, you know exactly where to look, and you just kind of ignore the other ones, and you can move the pages as you need. So do you need to track all your projects? That's the next question. Not right now. Don't try to go through all your piles and dig through all your stuff. Not right now. It's just not the time. So during today, you're going to focus on the piles that you've been building while you were cleaning your hot spots or flat surfaces, as someone else said, because that's all their hot spots. Totally mine too. If there's a project that you're excited about, again, put together those tracking sheets for it. You'll get overwhelmed if you try to put everything, if you try to track everything at the same time. Okay. So Marcia says, I have put my tabs in mine. Ooh, Marcia, we would love to see that. You have to take a picture. She also says, I'm learning there are times that made me think not to continue, but then nope, I just can't. Yeah. This step intimidates me. Yes. Joni says, I started out monthly and 2 months in switched to yearly and have no regrets. Best use money I've ever spent. Yes, Joni, I know the IQ is wonderful. So glad you did. Yes, Marcia, we're all members and new friends. Yep. Yeah, it can be overwhelming. So let's talk about that overwhelm. Is that part of, yeah, Monica says, don't let it, we can help. Yeah, Bobby, for sure. Let's just figure out what you want to work on during the challenge and not worry about anything else. So what's, you know, Lucy's not restricted, but Lucy's chosen to do just 5 during the challenge. And I know, Bobby, you've been working on Hocus Pocus and it's incredible. And that one, maybe, now maybe that's the reason you're overwhelmed, is because that one's been going for a while. And you need to find some quick and fun projects that won't get you upset. And yeah. Delene, IAQ is the best group ever. Yes, we are. All right, so please don't try to track them all. I know you're going to want to, but just set things aside knowing that you'll track them later. You know where the PDFs are. You can make copies when you feel like it. So let's just focus on our 10 for this time. How many projects? So this is right where keep to 10 or under for right now. Good number to go into the weekend. Flexibility, you can pick and choose what to sew. You have a variety of sizes, styles, designs, patterns. It's not too many, but enough to keep you busy and give you a choice. So nothing is fun about going into your sewing room and forcing yourself to work on one project until it's completely done. I know there's quite a few quilters who do that, and they figured out that system works best for them, but I wouldn't worry about trying to replicate that if that does not work for you. So I love mixing things up. I have more than one project going at a time, but use those tracking sheets and set the timer. Set the timer. Maybe, Bobby, that is what you need to do. So, yeah, Monica says, I use a disc-bound notebook, tool brand phone, Office Depot for my quilting OPC books. Monica, I'm super excited because I bought a disc hole punch. And so I'm going to try that system, and we'll be putting together some tutorials for the planner, the new stuff that's coming out by the end of the month. So super excited about giving that a try. I've seen it. I've never tried it. So I'm ready to try it. I'm waiting for it to arrive. But because I'm kind of in the boonies, it takes a little bit longer. So I think it's coming next week. But yeah, super excited about that. So I will suggest setting a timer. Oh, you have the disc hole punch too. Yes. Bobby, it's different from a 3-ring binder in that you don't have to open the rings to remove the paper. It's punched in a certain manner that allows you to push papers in or remove them. It's just interesting. Yeah. So we'll go into that when the planner is revealed coming up. Kathy says, I found that staying organized really helps. The OPC keeps me on track. For sure. Excuse me. For sure. Yeah, so I would suggest using the timer when it comes to our projects, even when we are tracking them. So set the timer for 15 minutes. Pick one project, start working on the tracking sheets with it. If you have time left over, go find the materials that you need. If you don't have time left over, move on to another project and set the timer. Go take a break or come back and set the timer again. But I would really use the timer system for this because I get sidetracked, first of all, by all the other things. And so this really does help. Marcia says, I do have to say that I stray way too much in organizing. Yes, I have a hard time sewing with things all around me out of place. After losing my sewing room and now compacted into a tiny dining area, it's driving me crazy. Yeah, yes. I know a lot of us do that. And like I just moved recently. I've got a lot of stuff in the garage. I'm not going to bring it into the house when I set my sewing room up just because of that. It's too much. And so I know you've been working on a system though, Marcia, and it looks really good. So, all right, let's finish this up. Don't worry about quilt blocks yet. So I know you made a pile or you're kind of looking at them and staring at them, but don't worry about them. Tomorrow, we're going to go over those ebooks, what possibilities we have with those. Today, it's all about setting up the system for those orphan projects. So let's review. We've got number 1, choose our 10 projects. Dig through that collection of projects. Choose 10 that you're most excited about and maybe what you need to focus on over the weekend. So you can do more, but this is a good amount to start with or even less. Number 2 to do today is fill out those tracking sheets. So with your projects chosen, take some time to go find the materials you need to finish and go through those steps, writing down what is next. So fill out those 2 sheets. If keeping one in the binder, you're almost ready to sew. So we're not pushing you into the sewing machine quite yet. If you feel like sewing though, go right ahead. There's no rules here. But this is all about kind of looking at the projects, filling out those tracking sheets, and prepping for our sew time coming up on, I believe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what's your goal for today? Drop it in the comments. Let's hear it. Hear all about it. We're here to support you. And your action steps for today are drop a picture like I showed you earlier of your 10 projects or less or whatever you've got on your tracking sheets. Let's see how you're going to move those projects forward. Check in with your accountability buddy. It's always better when we do things together. And Q&A. So here we go. All right. So I am going to stop my screen. There we go. Here we are back. So let's see. Finish the tracking sheets from Leanne. Community. This is all about community. It is 100%, Monica. Bobby says, timer is out. I get too distracted. I am also stuffed into a small space too. Yep, totally understand that, Bobby. Yep, totally understand that. As you can see, my pile is still here. My goal is not moving along very good. So Marcia says, do have a hole punch and use that system for several years. Love it. Was putting your planner into mine. Yes, I'm excited to give it a try. Kathy says her goal is do my sheets, gather needed supplies for my projects. Perfect. Elaine, I'll be picking up 10 projects. I have too many right now circulating in my brain. That's what happens. Seriously. Yeah. Billy says I need to pick a few orphans for my list and fill out the tracking sheets. Marcia finished getting the area put together. Should take a picture now and then at the end of the day. Do it. Do it, Marcia. And then again, don't overwhelm yourself. Set the timer for little spaces so you take breaks in between. Bobby says, so we can chat in the Facebook group if we get stuck. For sure, Bobby. Drop it in the Facebook group. Anything you need, let us know. Share us your blocks if you get stuck. Yeah, whatever. Share your sheets. Fill out the 2 sheets for my picked projects. Love it, Bobby. Kathy says, love the IAQ. It keeps me focused too. Yes, I love it. And I love that we get to share what we're working on each month with our show and tell. So that's a lot of fun. I love show and tell. Yes. Yeah. So if there is any other questions, drop them in real quick. And let's see. Marcia says, I will. I think my husband's that I'm not going to get anything else done. Yeah. Joanne's also carries some of the disc bound system. The hole punch at Office Depot works for those disc books. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you told him that you're not going to get anything else done. Yeah, just set your timer. Let's just, let's not try to do everything at once. And again, the challenge isn't about dumping your room into the hallway. So do little things at a time. Little things build up to big stuff. So all of a sudden, you'll be surprised at what you have done. But I would really set my timer so you're not, yeah, set your timer. because it's no fun to sit there and go, I can't sew until this time, or this is all finished and done and stuff like that. So I would love that. The timer works really well for not only keeping us on track, but then keeping the overwhelm from us as well. So that is all I have for today. I'm excited to see your tracking sheets. I'm excited to see what your goals are. And again, if you feel like sewing, that's fine. If you don't, that's no worries at all. So we have plenty of time this weekend to sew. Yeah. I wonder if my lab will understand the timer. Is that the dog? Yeah, they don't get it. He's your break time, though. He's your break time. Yeah, lots of claps from Bobby. So excited about today. So that is your job today, is just using those tracking sheets, finding your projects. And yes, it was a great chat. Sewing as we speak. Billy, or a double. Yep, go get her. I love it. All right, so we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. We will be talking about what you can do with those leftover quilt blocks with the ebook. So until then, happy track sheet filling out, and I look forward to seeing everything that you're working on. It is so much fun. So we will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me.